Y'all want to know something? It's so important for us to remember to not let the seasons define us, you know. And I definitely speak on that from experience, because I can, shoot, the first time I got my heart broke, baby, it was a good 2 years of just, I don't know what was going on. Just straight up depression. I really just, I don't know. I don't know who I was. I could say, like, for 2 years, I completely just blacked out, because that's how hurt I was behind a situation of me getting my heart broke, right? I just became a literally a heartless person. I can't even recall anything from that time. And it wasn't even like, I was out here doing crazy shit or nothing like that. It was just the fact that shit hurt me so bad that I didn't know who I was. And the thing about it, we're talking about first love. So you already know I poured myself into that situation more than I should have. You got to learn the art of healthy attachment and healthy detachment. But I really poured myself into that situation because, I was in love. Like, shoot, I'm going to show you how much I love you. Here it is. Here's all of me. And I gave so much of myself to that situation. I had no clue who I was once that situation ended. So it turned into me just having, for 2 years, I just lived in like the void. I just lived in the void because I let that season define me. And, back when I was 17, 18, 19. So imagine if I just let that stick with me, right? I'm getting ready to be 40 this year, y'all. Woo, go. I'm getting ready to be 40. And I'm just like, imagine if that stuck with me. Imagine if I let something hurt me so bad that it literally changed my personality. It changed who I was to the world. That would have been such a disservice to not only myself, but the people around me. And I speak from experience when I say, do not let these seasons define you. I know it can be hard. I know it can just feel like, this is the worst thing I've ever had to go through. I don't know how I'm going to make it through this. And yeah, it can feel that way. But guess what? Like I always say, you have made it through all of your bad days. To this point, you've made it through all of your bad days. So whatever situation it is that you're facing, you can get through that too. You can definitely get through that. Don't let it change you to becoming a person that you know you're not. A person that's not even serving the vibration that you need to be in to lead the life that you want to lead. And what's interesting about that is I was on Instagram today and I was looking at, just scrolling. And I think it was a story that I was reading, and it was talking about, I don't know, y'all, I was looking at something. But anyway, it was talking about this gentleman who was, I think he might have been on the train or something, and he was homeless. And so he was kind of like apologizing to the people or whatever, like, I'm sorry if I don't smell well, I'm sorry if I don't look like I take care of myself, just went there, just gave him the full rundown of, just apologizing for his appearance and his presence. But at the end of that, he said, I want to tell you that it's important for you to grieve properly. Y'all, that is so important, because you see it all the time. You see people, whether they're grieving a death of a relative, a death of a relationship, death of a career, death of just life as you once knew it. Whatever it is, if you're not grieving that correctly, if you don't know how to really just pick yourself up after you've been facing one of those situations, it gets real dark, y'all. It gets really dark. And I know that for a fact. And I think that is something that, it is something that I admire about myself. It's like, I have gone to the darkest places, okay, when it comes to where your thoughts can go, where it comes to just really breaking yourself down and just, you know, just feeling like just on E, just empty. I've been there, y'all. I've been there. And, you know, of course, situations have put me there, whereas, you know, I maybe couldn't handle the outcome. But I've also put myself there too, because once I understood that I could go to the dark side and pick myself back up, I found it important and necessary to go to the dark side, because I needed to really dig into why is this even a place for me? What's here? What do I need to learn from being in this dark place that's going to help elevate me? And so I think the biggest takeaway that I have from that is the fact that you made it. You were resilient. You actually hit your rock bottom, and you managed to just bounce right back, because you understand the cycle of life and how that works, you know. But I know that a lot of people struggle with that. A lot of people struggle with a couple things. Number one, they struggle with being able to even go to the dark side of things to really dig. But it's so important. It's so important, because you're going to find something there that you probably didn't even realize existed. That's where your trauma is coming in at. That's where all those memories, those bad memories, those bad things, whatever it is, that's where you're going to find that at. And that's where you can actually heal that hurt little person inside of you, you know? You can actually get to the bottom of what exactly is it in the core of me that I need to unlearn or relearn or whatever your process is, that's going to help make me better. You know what I mean? You definitely just sometimes have to see things broken down before you can actually get an idea of the full picture, or you get to see the pieces that may need a little tweaking, or you get to see the pieces that are missing or broken or whatever. I mean, you know, you just think about how when you are assembling something, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to you in pieces, you have to put those things together. And even though, yes, we can't come into situations whole and everything, sometimes we need to be broken down, so we can see, like I said, those small parts of you that might need a little bit of tweaking to just get you that much better. You know what I mean? Get you to be that much better of a person, to reach whatever it is that you are here in this life to reach. So, you know, going to that dark side, doing that shadow work is so important to get to the root of what the hell is really wrong with me and how can I fix it. It's also important to look at that dark side, because we need to learn how to accept it. You know, everything has a positive, a negative, a good and a bad, a yin and a yang, a yin and a yang. That's just the world that we exist in. Our world is full of this side and that side. That's it. That's our balance. We all have this balance. So we can't keep sitting here saying, oh, it's light, it's light, it's light, it's light. If we're not if we're not acknowledging, that's the way I know how to talk, y'all. If we're not acknowledging the shadow side of us too, because that's important. That's also a part of you. That's also something that you need to explore and embrace. So yeah, I really think that, you know, like I said, I started off with just telling y'all about, like, while it is important for that, it's also important to understand that you can't stay there, you know. And with me, like I said, I can recognize that I can get to the dark side, and I can understand how somebody can stay there. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, that person's going to kill themselves or they're going to do this and do that. That's not what that is talking about. It just means that you can just stay in a lower frequency, in a lower vibration, and then the world around you is going to match exactly that. That's not something that you really want. And in the story that I shared with you about the gentleman on the train, that's exactly what happened. He didn't grieve properly. Whatever it was that he was grieving, he didn't grieve properly, to the point where it overtook his mind, and then it started to overtake everything else. Now you've lost out on a lot of stuff. You know, you lost out on in this particular situation, he lost out on his home. He lost out on a job. He said he had just lost everything because he didn't know how to grieve properly. It's so important that you all take the time to do that. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to be sad and angry or whatever it is about a situation, but we don't live there. You can't exist there. That's literally a lower realm. It is a lower frequency that we're not a part of. And even if you are, let's say, you're doing really well, and then you find yourself, you hit some situation, some circumstance in life that you feel like it may knock you down, you're still not as low as you once were, because you've learned and you've elevated. So it's like, you were down here and then you elevated, and then something hit you. Guess what? You don't need to go back down there no more, because when you was down there, you already learned down there. But you might go down to right here. Then you go back up again, and then you come down again. So these down parts that we're having, even though they're there, you're still not as low as you once were. You don't need to go super low to know that, you don't need to return back to that super low to realize that you learned something, or sorry y'all, my camera cut off. But yeah, you don't ever have to return to the super low that you were once in. But you definitely want to make sure that when you do have those down moments, that you're taking the time to learn there too. Don't just sit in that moment, sit in that mood, sit in that frequency just because you're hurt, and you're not really taking the time to learn from what it is. What exactly do I need to learn from this, so maybe this doesn't happen again? And everything is about how you react to it. Everything is about that. You can't sit here and say, oh, I would have never gone through that if such and such ain't do. Yeah, it was still how you reacted to what such and such did. That's the problem. So we got to make sure that when we are hitting those lows, that we're taking advantage of those lows to get us to our highs. Anyway, y'all, that's enough talking for today. I gotta go. I'm getting ready to hit the gym with my son, and yeah, I love y'all. Glad to be back, and hopefully I'll see y'all sooner than later.